Hi, welcome to Hollywood. This is Josh,
And this is Carter.
and today we're going to talk about a sequel to the Simpsons movie.
Simpsons 2, Rise of the Stonecutters.
It's the Empire
Now,
Strikes Back of the Simpsons trilogy.
it really could be. I mean, it really doesn't follow suit because there were no stonecutters in the first one, but I like to think of it that way.
That's like
Now,
they always think the sequel's going to be darker. It's like no, not really. It doesn't. You can't do the Simpsons that dark.
You can do the Simpsons, dog. No, really, you can't because it's the Simpsons. And at this point in our lives, the Simpsons have been, what, is it 27 seasons now?
26. Next year's 27.
Okay. So, yeah, Simpsons are, at this point, an American institution. Much like, the Lucy Show was, like the Tonight Show has been 60 Minutes. The Simpsons have been here for most of our lives.
And it was on the Tracy Ullman show before that. So, I mean, we're pushing 30 years for the
it really
characters.
You want to count the Tracy Ullman show. I generally don't. Most people don't because, I remember where I was, the first time it aired on Fox, the Christmas special, The Simpsons, when, Homer loses his bonus and, Bart gets tattooed and Marge has to blow the Christmas savings. So he becomes this, Secret Santa and in the mall, and then they get Santa's little helper and everybody's happy in the end. And I remember I was in second grade when that aired, watching that with my family on a Sunday night around Christmas time, and that's always stuck with me. And, The Simpsons have been in our lives every day since then. I mean, running syndication now, FX now runs Simpsons every day, as they should. I think there should have always been a network dedicated to that ever since they reached their 20 year. So now we're at the point where we've had a Simpsons movie, something I thought was way overdue by the time it actually happened. And the first one was okay.
I like the first one.
And this has been my qualm with The Simpsons since around season probably 15. Like seasons 3 through 9 were the years of The Simpsons. That's where the comedy was at their best. Conan had written for them for a time, Conan O'Brien, and a lot of other writers associated with him out of Harvard. And now it was just kind of, we reached that point where they had done pretty much everything. And, even South Park did a dedicated, Simpsons did it. And they have done everything.
Yeah, it would be hard to write just a standard episode, I think.
It would be, because to their credit, they keep going and keep going. So good for them. But at this point, they've done everything. So what do we do for a sequel? And, Josh, you and I discussed it. And we would like to see the Rise of the Stonecutters again, because that was one of the best episodes they ever did.
Definitely. An episode is basically a take on the Freemasons, where their leader is voiced by Patrick Stewart. And basically they just run every New World Order organization. Like, it's a spoof on all that stuff.
Illuminati, and I'd like to think that the Stonecutters are actually running everything. Stonecutters have been running the Illuminati, the Freemasons, the New World Order, the Skull and Bones. Like, they're all being run by the Stonecutters. And if you remember at the end of the Stonecutters episode, where the Stonecutters kind of dissolve and they become the No Homers because Homer was the chosen one. I would like to see Rise of the Stonecutters again, where it starts happening around Springfield. They notice something's off, like something is going on. There's some sort of malevolent presence behind the scenes. Yeah, and you come to find they still exist.
they kind of went even more underground after the No Homers Club.
Yeah, they can go back to being stonecutters, disavowing the chosen one. And I would even like to see like a subsect of the stonecutters coming to Homer after stuff starts going wrong and going, Homer, the organization's in trouble, you need to come back. Like a splinter sect or something, like it'd become malevolent and darker in its intended purpose.
Also, be funny to do because I don't think Comic Book Man was a comic book guy was one of the stonecutters, right?
I didn't see him. It was in The Simpsons at that point.
Yeah, I think he was. He's probably a newer character or not as well used.
Oh no, comic guy was definitely in The Simpsons at that point. Yeah.
But you remember the Justice League cartoon where they'd have the question and he'd like put all these conspiracy theories together?
Yes, I love the question.
It would be funny if like Comic Book Guy played that role in the movie.
I could definitely go for that. You definitely have to bring Sir Patrick Stewart back into there.
Oh, definitely.
Let's face it, he gets comedy. He really does. I think he's overlooked a lot of times and he's good in a comedy role. He's done so many voice work. He's done The Simpsons. He's been on American Dad, doing a political dad that's in charge of the FBI. So I could, you definitely have back.
Probably a few celebrities because the first movie, Simpsons always tied in with celebrities, even back in the beginning.
They still do.
Yeah.
It really thought of us as celebrity benchmark of sorts where you get invited. I mean, wasn't season before last Lady Gaga was on there.
Yeah.
And it's been that really since
Michael Jackson
Dustin Hoffman both did cameos under pseudonyms because they loved The Simpsons but didn't want to be associated with a cartoon.
Yeah, because it hadn't been done since the Flintstones.
So they used pseudonym when they did it, which was great, but all of a sudden, like, celebrities started coming out of the woodwork. Even Kevin Smith has said, I'll know I've made it when I'm finally on Simpsons.
Yeah. And the first movie I remember had Tom Hanks and Green Day.
Yep, Green Day was on there. Tom Hanks was on there. And you can probably get a lot of other ones. I mean, when The Simpsons did their 25-year anniversary episode, there were a lot of celebrities that did like a huge video package about, what a benchmark it is and all of that. So you could definitely get a lot of celebrities. Patrick Stewart, and I would like to, it would be really funny if guy helping them out to try to, like Patrick Stewart would play the role of the Sith at this point. I would like to see Ian McKellen trying to help Homer.
Like the rebellion, sort of.
Yeah, kind of like the rebellion. I mean, we're going pretty much full Star Wars points with our modern take of clandestine secret societies controlling everything in the back. I would definitely love to see this made into a full feature presentation.
And I think even over the Stonecutters should be Kodos and Kang. To me.
Yeah, that would make sense because, they keep the aliens under wraps.
Yeah.
What about Steve Guttenberg? Can we dig him up?
Definitely. What's he? I haven't seen him in anything since like Police Academy 87 or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure Steve Guttenberg's not doing anything. No, and I'm not sure. It's Billy West that does the voice of Zapp Brannigan, right?
Yeah.
We could bring him back to be, I forget the name of the character, but the guy who, Lyle Langley, the guy who brought the monorail.
Oh Lord, the shyster.
Shyster who brought the monorail. I think you could really get Billy West to do that Phil Hartman, may rest in peace, voice over. I don't know if anybody else would have a problem with that.
I think they retired his character, kind of like they did Mrs. Krabappel.
Yeah, they retired all of his because Phil Hartman played numerous characters throughout The Simpsons, most notably lawyer.
He was also Troy McClure.
Or all of his characters were retired once he passed away. But I would also like to see a monorail tie-in in that episode.
Subway. Do the opposite. Do a subway system. Oh, you could even do mole people and stuff. Like Mole Man, like Hans Mole Man could tie in with the mole people.
He is in charge of the mole people.
Yeah, see?
I'd like to see this. I would also like to see somewhere there's a giant, climactic fight. Like, you're throwing in mole people and just all sorts of craziness. Because, cartoon is much easier to do that with than live action. Because you can get away with defying the laws of physics very easily. Watching, mole people helping Homer out while they're building a subway.
And there's Martians already established because there's a Martian member of the Stonecutters in the episode.
There is. So you can have also a Martian invasion. Protos and Kang helping out. And, having people chase Crotos and Kang off with a board with a nail in it.
It's their weakness.
He's got a board with a nail in it. One day they'll have a board with a nail in it so big that they'll destroy themselves. All happens. I mean, we're coming from a straight Simpsons fanboy point because, let's face it, we are huge Simpsons fanboys.
Yeah. I think it'd be funny to do it in 3D.
Meh. I mean, you could do some 3D gags in it.
Yeah, but I'm saying to actually make fun of, because it's a sequel, so I think it's kind of self-aware, kind of like 22 Jump Street, where it sort of makes fun of the fact it's a sequel. So it kind of makes fun of the 3D cash grab too.
Yeah, Simpsons are one of the few people that can get away with that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying to do it like that.
Everybody, please forgive me for sneezing or coughing. I'm still a little under the weather here.
Plus it'd be something it's never been in 3D before. That's added.
It's true. And they can do a lot of cheap 3D gags.
Yeah.
Well, it definitely worked. And I think Rise of the Stonecutters would be hugely popular, especially with everybody around our age, 30 to 40 that kind of grew up with this.
One thing, the first movie, it didn't give many meaty roles to the other characters in town.
No, that's true. It really didn't.
That's probably my biggest complaint about the first movie is that it's just pretty much solely on The Simpsons. You rarely even see any of their characters.
Yeah, it felt like the first Simpsons movie felt like just a very long episode.
Yeah.
Instead of this grandiose movie that they could have done.
So I try to map it out where most of the big characters have. Even if it's a small part, it's important. You know what I mean? Like the question role for Comic Book Guy, or something for Flanders. Flanders could run some sort of underground railroad thing for the Stonecutter Rebels.
I can see Flanders doing that. It's like running under the church. Like the altar is just for a passage.
They could even do like you remember in you've seen Django or not Django, Inglourious Bastards, right?
Yeah.
They're like interviewing the German family. There's like people hiding under the boards. You get to see somebody like Wiggum like interviewing Flanders and like Rod and Todd.
Yeah.
Just get real stupid with it.
Oh, God. And like have Ralph in there somewhere trying to help his dad. Oh, Ralph. Ralph is like sometimes, he used to be used so much more, but his one-liners are some of the best.
Oh, definitely.
He just comes out of left field with some of that stuff. No, I'd like to see more like Mr. Burns and Smithers rarely got mentioned in the movie. They definitely need a bigger voice in the second one because, Burns is, evil of evils as far as this Simpsons world is concerned.
Maybe he and Rich Texan can team up to try to...
No, that's when you bring in the whole Republican convention that's in like Dracula's castle.
With what's the Arnold Schwarzenegger?
That would
Wolf Castle.
Yeah, Rainier Wolf Castle.
Yeah, he'd have to be in on that.
And Krusty. Because even though Krusty always seems to be bankrupt.
But Mr. Burns power grab would be pretty funny. Just the more morally corrupt he is, the funnier he is, I think.
That is true. I mean, one of the most memorable things they ever did was the Who Shot Mr. Burns. You remember that episode when leading up to where he was getting shot, he just went mad with power.
Oh yeah, he treated everybody like garbage.
Walking out the sun. He stole oil from the school. He wrecked Moe's.
That may have been almost as big as the JR episode, of Dallas. It was based on.
Bigger. Yeah, I think it was actually bigger because they had 7-Eleven behind them and they did a huge marketing sweep. I think something you couldn't do when the Dallas episode, Who Shot JR, aired.
Yeah. This is pre-internet too, so nobody really knew anything.
No, there was no spoiler to this. Like, internet was first in its infancy. So there were no spoilers, there was no nothing, and that was really great about it because I remember everyone talking about that when I went to school, that September, because that episode hadn't aired and everybody was like, literally everybody was talking about who we thought would do it. We were taking bets on, and nobody saw Maggie doing it.
Yeah, that was a good curveball.
Yeah.
I think Smithers was the popular choice.
I can't remember who I thought it was. I thought it might have been like some obscure character, like Barney, or if it might have been Moe. Man, I don't think anybody really saw like Maggie pulling the trigger. And then because it was Maggie, everything goes back to normal.
Yeah. So that's what's even with this. We'd have to wrap it around, make it everything normal again, because there'd be another season of television.
What was the whole thing with the Dallas? Like, was it all a dream? Is that how they played it off?
Yeah, I think Patrick Duffy woke up one day and it was a dream.
Yeah. And they got away with it back then, but now they were like the first people to do the whole dream sequence. Now it's just a cop out.
They did a lot of weird series finales. There was that one hospital show. What was it, Saint Elsewhere? And they turned up to be in a snow globe,
Oh
like
yeah,
an autistic kid's snow globe or something like that. I mean, you try that with something like Lost, and the internet will just blow up.
yeah. I mean, think about the ending of The Sopranos.
Oh yeah, yeah, blacked out.
Funny story. I know this is way off topic, but my grandfather was watching that, and he thought his cable went out, so he called the cable company, yelling at him, which I thought was hilarious. I'm like, no, they just didn't know what to do.
Yeah,
The writers actually had no idea how to end that show.
And now with James Gandolfini, I mean, they talked about doing a movie, I believe, but with James Gandolfini down, he died, so that's just, I would think, impossible.
Yeah, I mean, you can't do it without Tony. Which, if you watch the episode again, there's clues in there that as to what happened. But you have to really be paying attention to some obscure things happening at the last scene. And so obscure, I didn't notice it and watch something that explained it to me. It's ridiculous. But back to The Simpsons.
Yeah.
I think Skinner would need a bit of a bigger part too. Also, and I hate to say this, Bart needs a new teacher.
Oh, yeah, to replace Krabappel.
Yeah.
One thing with Skinner, I mean, you could use this to fix a lot of the continuity problems. Remember that one where Skinner wasn't Skinner? He was like another guy?
Yeah, like
he took
Skinner
Skinner's
only
place.
assumed the identity of Skinner because
People are still pissed about that.
I thought it was funny.
But then it's kind of like all swept under the rug. I mean, but that's what they do. I mean, even with this movie, if you get big with the aliens and the Martians and the mole people, at the end, it still has to be pretty much what it was at the beginning.
Yeah, you have to wrap it up in a nice, neat little package, which it was, they tried to, in the season that aired right after the movie happened, the opening title sequence, paid no homage to the movie where Bart was trying to, skating around town, and you saw broken pieces of the dome everywhere, and the town was pretty much in shambles after what had happened.
Yeah, and then Plopper, I think, had a cameo.
Yeah, Plopper the pig. Spider Pig.
Does whatever Spider Pig does.
He does. Can he swing from a web? No, he can't. He's a pig.
So, are there any celebrities you'd want to see used? Like Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks is a big actor. He's in the first one, so that's
because Tom Hanks gets it.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Clooney. Clooney hasn't done any animation since South Park.
Where they had him bark like a dog.
Yeah, he's just the voice of a barking dog.
Could you imagine the balls on those guys?
Yeah, but Clooney thought it was funnier than hell.
Yeah.
So maybe he could do like another, like, I don't know, something funnier, or maybe a bit part like that. I'd like to see Kevin Smith, and just because Kevin Smith is such cheap.
He could be in with Comic Book Guy.
He could be in. I could see like Kevin Smith hanging out with. He's like, we must talk to the ultimate nerd, and then go find Kevin Smith, looking out in New Jersey.
Is wearing like his orange and blue hockey jersey.
Yeah. And that's totally feasible in that world. Like, this comic book guy travels to secret stash and hangs out with Kevin Smith. Yeah, but you'd also have to put Jay in there. Jason Mewes.
Jay and Silent Bob cameo.
Yeah.
Other conspiracy thing, like basically like any little thing is a conspiracy. Like you put your dollar bill in the pop machine, and it keeps it. That like helps fund the organization.
Or like they're really behind the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And you would change the title, Make a Dream. Or something to like Ronald McDonald House be, Krusty Burger House or something.
I don't think I'd want to stay at the Krusty Burger House.
Camp Krusty worked out so well.
But yeah, you'd have to. I'd say bigger in scope. Now, the first movie has a pretty big scope, but we'd probably. You got to raise the stakes a little bit.
You do, and still, I think giant battle at the end really does wonders.
Something has to make. I would think the Martians flee. It would have to be something really dumb, like the
board with a
dumber the
nail in
better.
it. Board with a nail in it. They did it before.
Maybe a board with 2 nails in it.
You're a board with 1 nail, and like, what about a board with 2 nails?
Run! Like they're not afraid of. How about they're not afraid of the board with 1 nail? We've seen that before. So then they bring out the board with 2 nails. They're like, flee!
I'd like to see them go really global with it, because I picture, the whole thing being a very global domination plot. I'm trying to think of a country the Simpsons haven't been to. They've been to China?
I know they've been to Japan.
Yeah, they've been to Japan.
They've been to Australia. I remember that.
Yeah, they've been to
Africa. I'm not sure which country it was. I don't think they even said.
Just South America during the World Cup.
Have they been to Canada?
Yeah, I think they did some Canadian stuff, like the Winter Olympics episode.
I'm sure
Sure.
I'm sure they've been to Mexico. That's too easy. That's like a layup. Same with England.
Yeah, they've been to England.
Have they been to Germany?
Oh. Offhand, I don't remember. I mean, hell, over how many episodes have we had now?
566 last I saw of Simpsons episodes. So they'll be hitting 600 soon.
Yeah. So it's hard to do what they haven't done, but a giant war with the stonecutters and kind of a separate sect trying to, take back the stonecutters to what they were, enlisting the help of the Great One, that being Homer. Supposed to deliver them to the Promised Land. And I'd like to see him bring in, like, Bart with it, kind of that he's the next generation of it.
So the offshoot would be Ian McClellan as the head.
Yep.
And underneath that would be what, Burns and the Rich Texan?
He goes. Well, I think Patrick Stewart would still be the head, wouldn't he?
Well, no, I mean, Patrick Stewart would be the other side of the coin.
Okay. Oh, you want Patrick Stewart going back to get Homer?
Well, no. But so one side would be Patrick Stewart, and the other side would be Ian McClellan, right?
That's what I'm saying.
So which side would Burns be on?
Yeah. Whatever side's the most evil. And that's same thing with Rich Texan and Krusty and Wolf Castle and Dracula.
Because historically on The Simpsons, it's typically a left-leaning show that the Republicans are always super evil. Wouldn't you say historically?
Oh yeah, historically, I mean, they are, but that's the way most media is. I mean, let's be fair. Generally speaking, the media is very left of center. they love poking fun at Fox News.
Another funny gag, if we did do it in 3D, was one of the conspiracies is that there's like they use 3D movies to subliminal messages. And Homer could be like, 3D movies? Who's dumb enough to pay an extra $3 to watch a movie in 3D?
Especially you.
Do like the finger point like out through the...
Like...
Because that's the kind of humor the show is. They sort of make fun of their fans a lot.
They do.
Because comic book guys pretty much their internet fan base, right?
More or less, yeah. I mean, it's your hardcore internet fan base. And, but he's kind of the hardcore internet fan base for everything.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, think about it. Every popular show or movie has a hardcore internet fan base. That becomes the hardest of nerds.
Which I'm sure the writers are probably frustrated.
Yeah, I don't think... They just don't care at this point.
Yeah.
It's like, what are they going to do? Write about us on the internet? Just like everyone else.
So how would we set things back to normal? What would be the reset?
No, the reset is, I would say that, good would triumph over evil, and Homer would learn some sort of valuable lesson like usual, and just kind of go back to his family.
So what do you think the lesson would be?
Oh, he leaves Patrick Stewart in charge and be like, I don't need a group. I have my family right here. It really ties in the whole family aspect of it. That's the heart of Simpsons. It's like family above all.
So basically, I don't need to look for an external family when I have a
or it could
real
be
family.
Something as I don't need that. Springfield is all I need. Like your hometown is what you truly need. Something cheesy to sum it up, like it always does, because it's kind of like part of it. And end with a big gag of some kind. I can possibly think of something that great, because I'm not a comedy writer.
Maybe they thaw out Walt Disney.
Yeah, like that's the ending shot. Like you see, like Burns in a desperate attempt, like trying to de-thaw Walt Disney. You see him in a chamber with like Hitler, Tupac, and Elvis.
That would be brilliant. It was all a cover to thaw out Walt Disney.
Like we're still trying to resurrect Walt Disney. All that works. And there's so many different things you can do because it's a cartoon.
Yeah.
But definitely epic battle sequence. Definitely bringing back the Stonecutters or the Rise of the Stonecutters. Having Homer return to trying to be number one.
More. Give the supporting characters more of something to do.
Yeah, and less stuff. Less of a whole marriage hurting thing between Homer and Marge, because we've been doing that long.
Yeah. If she hasn't left the guy yet, she's not going to.
Yeah, we all know she's always going to go back to Homer. Homer loves above everything else in this world. It doesn't need to happen in another movie again.
Yeah, I think the family should stick together all the way through.
Yeah, no family dysfunction.
Yeah, because there's too many other things going on. It's overkill at that point.
Yeah, we've done it before.
So you like the 3D, or you think it should stay in 2D?
You can do the 3D, but the problem with doing it in 3D is because when you release a 3D movie, you also have 2D screening.
Yeah.
When you do 2D sight gags wouldn't work with 2D, nor will it work on DVD.
Well, they have 3D Blu-ray now.
Yeah, not many people have that though.
Not true. Yeah, it's a niche market, I think.
It is, and unfortunately, it's gonna go away soon because sales from it have not been great because it's a very niche market.
Yeah.
Like, I even have a couple of DVDs that have a 3D disc with them because it was bought in a combo. It comes 3D, Blu-ray, and DVD.
That's like everything. And usually digital copy now, too. They just throw it all in there.
Which digital copy is great.
Oh, yeah.
Helps out a lot of people. I thank you. But, beyond that, 3D, in fact, DVD is going bye-bye. I mean...
Yeah. Even there's a 4K Blu-ray coming out, but with streaming so popular now, I don't know how else it's going to take off.
Yeah, Lord only knows. And that's all I got for the next Simpsons movie general plot outline. Yeah. Josh, you got anything to follow up with that?
That's all that I've got. Yeah, just keep it outrageous, but not like try to separate the family. You can't dig the same well, especially from the first movie. You have to, even if you've done something that the show's already done, you can't do something that the first movie's already done.
Oh, no, you can't go to the well again.
Yeah.
Well, then I'm good with that. I think we just gave a free plot outline for the next Simpsons movie.
So, yeah, we'll see you. We told you guys we'd be back sooner than last time.
Yeah, we're just starting to iron some stuff out. We'll be back next time with something even more obscure.
All right, take care, everybody.
Goodbye!